trying to close up the wealth gap. Get to this generational wealth, bet that. We gon' lift off like a jetpack. Time to tune in, not just speaking real facts. Right here is everything you need. This ain't no get rich quick thing. Create your own economy. Cause we ahead of the crypto curve, yeah. Create your own economy. Let's get ahead of the crypto curve, yeah. Learn from the queen of crypto, your host, Najah Roberts, leading people out of financial slavery through Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. Create your own economy.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to welcome you today to Ahead of the Crypto Curve, where we are creating Satoshi millionaires, one family at a time, one day at a time, one Bitcoin at a time, one Satoshi at a time. And ladies and gentlemen, that means you. I am your host, Najah Roberts, and it is my mission in life to lead my people out of financial slavery. I don't just do this show to change the way you think about money, but to make you change the way you look at money and everything else around you, because it absolutely matters. Today is Tuesday, April 4th, 2023, and we have a few Cryptopians whose birthday is today, and I want to wish them a happy birthday. We have Miles Bright, Donnell Wilderness, Lisa Riley, and Melvin Vaughn. Again, to each of you Cryptopians, I want to say happy birthday. May today be filled with all the love, joy, peace, and understanding you deserve on this day. If you'd like a shout out for your birthday, please send me a text message 424-317-7373. Again, that number is 424-317-7373. Ladies and gentlemen, we have got a lot to talk about today because my heart is kind of heavy, but I still have a smile on my face because I am in the right place at the right time with the right people, and that's you. And my heart is heavy, not because I've lost someone. I've actually lost a platform today, one that I hold near and dear to me. But just as this platform disappears in this cryptocurrency space, another one will pop its head up and we'll be able to monetize from that as well. So, what am I talking about? For the last couple of years, we have utilized in my household a platform called Paxful, Paxful. They've closed, so there's no need to write that down. But with the use of Paxful, I was actually able to sell Bitcoin to people that were not able to get Bitcoin for whatever reason, because maybe they didn't have a bank account or, they were unbanked. And in all sorts of countries, not just here in the United States. So I was able to supply people with Bitcoin who couldn't get their hands on Bitcoin. And in return, they would give me things such as airline credits, maybe a movie theater credit. I've shopped at Sam's Club, vanilla gift cards, all sorts of things that they're able to purchase in their country. They just barter with us for Bitcoin. And I absolutely love it. And I've, shared a couple of times. I use Bitcoin in my everyday life, and that mostly was in part because of Paxful. Well, Paxful has had to close their doors. A couple of different reasons that Paxful has had to close their doors. And so I'm going to let you know they are part of a lot of the debacles that have been happening. They had some money with Celsius, and Celsius closed. So when they took their Bitcoin and they staked their Bitcoin on Celsius, meaning they gave their Bitcoin to Celsius. Celsius was supposed to help them get a greater rate of return and then give them their Bitcoin back along with the winnings. That's how it was supposed to happen. But when Celsius collapsed, and everybody's Bitcoin went along with that platform, it put Paxful in a very precarious situation. And as a result, they've tried to hold on for a very long time. But today, we officially got a letter that they will be closing. And I'm really sad because, as I shared, I can go to Whole Foods with some of the credits that I actually trade for Bitcoin. And so while I may spend $75 in Bitcoin, I get $125 in a Whole Foods gift certificate or something like that. So that's how it kind of worked. And so when you're in a space such as this, in a crypto space such as this, it's brand new. There are a lot of things going on, a lot of different nuances that we're all learning. We're all in uncharted waters. And I really had gotten into using Paxful. I've even shopped with Home Depot credits. Like, this is a huge blow to me financially, only because I was spending a little bit of Bitcoin and getting a lot of what I needed over the last year or so. And Paxful was also a sponsor for the Digital Financial Revolution Tour. So I'm very sad about that, but I'm sure something will come back together and they'll get back on their feet. But what I do know from the owner and what I've read is that the United States is pushing to ensure that Paxful is not able to trade with people here in the United States. Why is that? Again, they are trying to cut off any way they can for people to actually get their hands on Bitcoin and go around the regular monetary system that's in place. And so in order to do that, you've got to cut off what we call on ramps and off ramps. And so I think, this is another one of their abilities, the ways that gives them the ability to cut off those on and off ramps. So, ladies and gentlemen, when we come forward, I don't know, maybe that's another business idea that I need to explore, is getting another Paxful in place. But in the meantime, we've got a lot to talk about in this cryptocurrency space because it is absolutely on fire. A lot of things are happening. So when we come forward, we'll continue. We've got a lot to talk about. This is KBLA Talk 1580.
So what's happening is we have been perpetually doing every single thing they told us. But y'all, I'm here to tell y'all, if it ain't changed in 158 years after slavery ended, it ain't gonna change unless we get in our own system. And the system is Bitcoin specifically. I'm not in here talking about get rich quick. I'm talking about it's gonna take us 5 to 10 years of playing chess. This money game is a chess game. This ain't checkers, and they ain't playing with us. So if you really, really want to do something for yourself, do something for your kids, do something for your family, start strategically thinking about how to put $6 away worth of Bitcoin. We're not telling you to run out and get 30,000. I am actually out here begging our community to do something different than we've been doing because they don't care about us. They are not coming to save us.
All right, welcome forward, welcome forward. I am just super excited, even though, again, my heart is heavy. But my quote today says, "It is the best of times and the worst at times." But this thing called Bitcoin is here to stay, and it's time for us to strut our stuff. And I'm super excited again about all the other opportunities. When one door closes, another one opens. And it is my prayer every single month that my words, that my everything about me and everything about who we are as a community absolutely rises, and that we meet the occasion, and we are here for the occasion. And so I'm excited about that. And so, as I stated to each and every one of you, you can send me an email or send me a text message and ask me about anything you want to in the financial services area. I know that the first hour we deal with old money on the radio, and I'm new money. And I just really feel like there has to be a balance for you to understand what is happening in old money in order to get why it's so critically important to embrace some of the new money that's there. But someone sent me a topic, and I have a couple of topics, and I really feel it's important for me to spend a little bit more than the little segment we had on the Ask Najah Roberts, so that people can understand the significance of Bitcoin specifically. And again, there are over, I don't know, 30,000 cryptocurrencies out there. And just in the last 2 weeks, a new 1,000 cryptocurrencies have popped up on the scene. Ladies and gentlemen, all coins are not created equal. So I'm not going to dig into different cryptocurrencies. I'll look and I'll find out what they're about if that's what you're asking me. But I really want to make sure that you understand I'm not giving any financial advice, but I am saying that in order for our community to thrive through the new transition of money, we have got to have and hold what matters. And I'm not saying that Dogecoin does not matter, but I'm saying it's a joke. I'm saying that the tokenomics do not work well. If you learn about tokenomics, in any form of money, ladies and gentlemen, has to have an aspect of scarcity. It has to be hard for people to get a hold of it in order for it to hold any value. And the more our government, the more governments around the world try to tighten up on allowing people to get anything, it becomes more and more valuable, just like prohibition. We know, about liquor back in the day. The harder it was to get, the more value people placed on it. And the same exact thing is going to happen around Bitcoin, and we're watching it happen every single day. But someone asked me, what is my take on if Bitcoin is a hedge against inflation? And I have to honestly say, I feel like Bitcoin is naturally a perfect hedge against currency inflation. So there's a couple of different types of inflation, but I'm going to say that I believe it is. I believe Bitcoin is naturally a perfect hedge against currency inflation, because um, it's not given any ability to print more than it is supposed to. And the blockchain, which is this computer program that no one can change. And for those of you that think Bitcoin was created by the government, if Bitcoin was created by the government, ladies and gentlemen, they would have done away with this a long time ago. And so the more we get deeper and deeper into them cutting off different on and off ramps so people can't get a hold of Bitcoin, that lets me know that they're definitely not the ones that created it, or they just turn it off. So this blockchain code enforces a supply in the cap of 21 million Bitcoin. And so the community at large has no incentive to eliminate the supply cap to benefit for someone else And so it just stays the same because nobody can get in there and make any of those changes. The entire community has to agree to make or create more Bitcoin, and that's not going to happen because those of us that are holding it and those of us that are buying it as much as we can get our hands on right now really do not want to increase the supply because then that's going to at some point depreciate what we're holding. And as it relates to cash, is the more that's created, the more the government is printing of our dollar bills, that is deflating the value, whether you want to believe it or not. And so inflation is a topic that I address very frequently, but given how much families and individuals and businesses are suffering right now from what we see as a never ending march to higher global prices, and it's just going to continue. And so, this increase in the currency supply is a problem. Currency inflation, in my opinion, is actually the worst type because it allows governments to use their money printers to increase the money supply for the benefit of themselves and not the community, while harming the rest of us who don't have the ability to legally create a new money or a new fiat. I'm going to say a new fiat because people are creating cryptocurrencies all the time. In fact, there's been about 1,000 that have come out in the last couple of weeks. And what they're hoping is that you're not smart enough to understand the whole tokenomics and purchase some. So if they just get a couple of $100 from you, they feel like they've done something. And I need you all to think about this. If they get 1,000 of us to give them $200 or $300, and back in their country, they can live for $40 a month, like they've made out like bandits. And so please be careful in this cryptocurrency space, what you involve yourself in, because they are putting stuff together and they're laying in waiting for an opportunity to prey on those that don't know. And I'm going to have another warning a little bit later about doing business online with people you don't know or you don't know what the platform is because they make beautiful websites. But that's not what we're talking about right now. So let me get back into this. So, one of the things that you need to know is Bitcoin is a helpful tool against many of the different types of inflationary pressures that the world is battling against right now. This topic of inflation is really a sore thumb because a lot of us just think that prices are the way they are and there's not much else we can do about it. And to a certain extent, you're correct. And when I look at higher gas prices, when I look at higher prices in the store, my husband and I typically look at each other. We don't complain. Yeah, it's high. We get it. But you know what we do is we look at each other and say, you know what? We got to make more money because we can't whine and complain. We've got to figure out how to keep up with what is going on. And we really feel like Bitcoin is helping us accomplish that. Not that we're cashing out right now and being able to utilize it, but as we go forward and we hit 2024, 2030, 2035, we believe that it is going to benefit us it's going to benefit us then from what we're doing right now today. And so inflation is here and inflation is there. Inflation is everywhere. I'm bringing out the Dr. Seuss on y'all. Maybe I need to do that as a video today. But as it turns out, there's actually several types of inflation that are only indirectly related, if at all. So, for example, most people think about when they hear the term inflation as an increase in the money supply, but rather, well, they don't think of it as an increase in money supply. They think of it as an increase in the price of goods and services. So there is what we call price inflation. And it really has a harmful effect, especially the way it's being rolled out right now because it's gradual, it's subtle. And I think it was about 2 years ago, I started noticing that a half a gallon of orange juice wasn't really a half a gallon of orange juice. It may have been 8 to 10 ounces smaller than that, but it looked exactly the same. And to the naked eye, you would just pick it up thinking you're buying the same product for the same amount of money, but in essence, you were buying the same product with less of what it is, which means it takes more money to give your family or deliver your family the same amount it used to in the past. And so I started trying to sound the alarm to let people know that that is how inflation is showing up. They figured out how to trick us into thinking everything is okay. And so I want us all to become uneasy about the inflation and really pay attention to how we can get around some of these things and how we can do better. We've got to bring in more money, obviously, and we've got to use the tools that are at our fingertips to really get these things done. But with that being said, increased prices is a comp is out there, but it's not being accompanied by an increase in our real wealth or our earnings. So if you're on a job and you're not getting that raise that you want, even 50 cents or a dollar, in my opinion, is not good enough to really help with the things that are happening. And I need you all to hear me when I say, I know I got a bunch of people that buck up against me when I talk about the price of college and how we're paying for our children to go to college. And yes, some of them absolutely may need a degree to do what they need to do. But for the most part, a lot of our youth, unfortunately, are graduating with these astronomical college bills, and they're not even going into the field of expertise that they went to school for. But on top of all of that, the debt is just strangling them, and it's really keeping a tether around their neck. And so I really hope that we start to really look at the new tools and things that are out there and really have a in-depth conversation with our youth to find out exactly what they want to do, and if there's a possibility for them to take that into entrepreneurship to do that, because our earnings are just not keeping up with what is going on as far as inflation is concerned. And case in point, people are going back to school to get a dollar raise. They're going back to get a master's degree to get a dollar raise. So that's $8 a day for the week, and we're talking a 40-hour week, so they may get 40 extra dollars on their check, and so that looks like $160 a month, which compared to what the college bill is and taxes and just some of the other things, like a lot of that does not make sense when you really need to be pausing and thinking about how you can increase your income, maybe with what you're doing right now, doing a side hustle where you can uh, take that expertise and do something in addition to what you're doing at work, which will net you more money than actually the debt that you're putting yourself in and that increase on your paycheck. And so, but going back to this, it doesn't reduce our ability to maintain our lifestyles. So our lifestyles, a lot of people's lifestyles are sort of dwindling. And in some instances, a lot of people are not even able to afford the basic necessities of life. And if you're here in Los Angeles and you haven't heard of this yet, our fabulous mayor, Karen Bass, just put some things in place to keep people from becoming homeless. Because as she's trying to get all the people off the streets of Los Angeles, their basic necessities of life are becoming harder and harder to obtain. And so she's getting the people off the streets of Los Angeles that are homeless. But then there's a whole nother slew of individuals that are getting into homelessness because they cannot afford to keep their rent and things up. So she's put some things in place, or she's working on those things to make sure that Angelinos are doing well. But all of this has to do with inflation, ladies and gentlemen. And it may not be us specifically, but we've got to look at other members of our families to see what it is we can do to assist. And in a lot of cases, price inflation is a naturally occurring phenomenon, but a lot of what had to do with with COVID is exacerbating. It's making this happen faster and faster and faster. And so we just really got to pay attention to those things. So I feel as though Bitcoin is not the direct cure for all of these imbalances. But again, when the dust settles, when the price of Bitcoin increases at some point, 5 to 10 years is what I'm thinking, we will have what we need in our tool bag. And Bitcoin is just one of the tools in that tool bag. And when the demand increases to the relative supply, the prices will increase and drive existing demand out, and we'll be in a great position. So it's not a full cure. And I say all the time, Bitcoin solves everything. And so a lot of people always say, why do you keep saying Bitcoin solves it? I just really feel like if we have money under our control for the first time, we're going to really be in a good space. So switching to Bitcoin and what we call the Bitcoin standard certainly won't eliminate all the price inflations as it relates to supply and demand matching, but we will have one heck of an opportunity to do some other things. So, unfortunately, no matter what I say, it is true that Bitcoin isn't the cure, but Bitcoin does do far more than any other cryptocurrency or other currency in history to mitigate the negative impacts inflation has on economies and the society. We're just beginning to see and understand how this world can improve if we choose to move Bitcoin into our lives and allow it to be what we call the Bitcoin standard. When we come forward after news, traffic, and sports, we will jump into our updates. This is KBLA Talk 1580.
So what's happening is we have been perpetually doing every single thing they told us. But y'all, I'm here to tell y'all, if it ain't changed in 158 years after slavery ended, it ain't gonna change unless we get in our own system. And the system is Bitcoin specifically. I'm not in here talking about get rich quick. I'm talking about it's gonna take us 5 to 10 years of playing chess. This money game is a chess game. This ain't checkers, and they ain't playing with us. So if you really, really want to do something for yourself, do something for your kids, do something for your family, start strategically thinking about how to put $6 away worth of Bitcoin. We're not telling you to run out and get 30,000. I am actually out here begging our community to do something different than we've been doing because they don't care about us. They are not coming to save us. So what's happening is we have been perpetually doing every single thing they told us. But y'all, I'm here to tell y'all, if it ain't changed in 158 years after slavery ended, it ain't gonna change unless we get in our own system. And the system is Bitcoin specifically. I'm not in here talking about get rich quick. I'm talking about it's going to take us 5 to 10 years of playing chess. This money game is a chess game. This ain't checkers, and they ain't playing with us. So if you really, really want to do something for yourself, do something for your kids, do something for your family, start strategically thinking about how to put $6 away worth of Bitcoin. We're not telling you to run out and get 30,000. I am actually out here begging our community to do something different than we've been doing because they don't care about us. They are not coming to save us.
All right, all right. We'll be on in just a second. All right, welcome forward. So this is something that I really need to share with you all. Effective yesterday, we got back in conversation with Instagram. I finally was able to talk to someone. And I need you all that are following me on social media to please not talk back and forth with people that are not Najah Roberts. So there's scammers all over the place. And so Instagram found 71 accounts that say Najah Roberts. Now I can't see them because they've blocked me. But please, ladies and gentlemen, do not talk back and forth with me on it is not me on Instagram. They look exactly like me. They may have two letters, like they may have two S's in Roberts or two A's in Najah or underscore or any of. Please do not get involved with those scammers. Please just block them and report them. And what's happened is someone just lost $2,500 by giving it to the scammer, thinking that it was me and that I was asking or telling them that I would trade for them. I am not going to get into what we call your DM, your direct message, and ask you for anything. So please beware. They are really preying on individuals that are trying to learn about cryptocurrency. Don't give up a dime. It is not me. I'm not asking that. And that also brings me to what has happened today, because the Department of Justice has actually seized over $100 million of cryptocurrency investments that were in a scam. And this scam was dubbed pig butchering. And I hate to say that they were calling new people to the cryptocurrency space pigs, and the fact that they were butchering you or butchering them. But the victims of this pig butchering scheme are referred to as pigs because the scammers use them to elaborate storylines to fatten up the victims into believing they are either a hopeless romantic or a personal close relationship. And you've got to be very careful. These people are good at what they do and they do it well. And from what I am learning, Los Angeles, California, ladies and gentlemen, has lost $112 million in assets on 6 different virtual currency accounts just in Los Angeles. A couple of them were in the District of Arizona as well and the District of Idaho. And these people are probably in other countries, but this is a lot of money that was confiscated. So I'm going to go back and just make sure I give you that fact. 112 million, which is what was confiscated, but 66.4 million of that came from Los Angeles, which is just craziness. And how do they know it came from Los Angeles? Because they check your network. They check the network to see where the coins came from. The coins are traceable, which is how they were able to confiscate them off these websites. However, people have lost money and it could be years before you get that money back. Do not do business online with a lot of these websites. You don't know who they are, where they came from, and who's actually behind it. Be very careful. And if you need to get in a situation or you get in a situation where you need me to take a look at something, please send it to ask Najah Roberts at gmail.com. Again, ask Najah at Gmail, ask Najah Roberts at gmail.com. And I'll take a look at it for you. And I'll do my best to see if it is legitimate or fake, or I'll do my best. And I can't make any guarantees because a lot of these people have phenomenal accounts. And ladies and gentlemen, even if you invest and they give you a little bit of rate of return and then they request more money, they usually kind of massage you and get you to continuously really feel confident about them. Again, you may even get some money back. But the next time they come back, it's more and more until they've actually taken a whole lot more from you than you've gotten back. And so be very careful. A lot of this stuff is just because people don't know about what the cryptocurrency space is about, and we are looking for somebody to trust. But please don't do that. And so many Americans are falling victim to this. Again, no one from KBLA or Najah Roberts or my husband, nobody from my staff will ask you for money ever in and on social media. So just be careful with that. So I wanted to share that information with you all today so you can beware and just know that these are old school tricks that they're using with new tools. And that new tool is cryptocurrency. And they will probably at some point be brought to justice. However, Bitcoin and the cryptocurrencies are traceable on the blockchain. But if somebody obtained a wallet, which is our virtual wallet, with some sort of fictitious ID or something of that sort, which is typically what scammers do. Even in old money, they would get a fake ID and go to the bank and try to withdraw money and all the things that they do. Nothing has changed, ladies and gentlemen. It's just the old school tricks with the new school. So if somebody obtained a virtual wallet with a fictitious name or something of that sort, they're not going to be able to be brought to justice because it leads to a dead end. But at least they can trace it on the blockchain and try to see maybe somebody accidentally paid a bill with some of the money, and then they can get to their house, which again, 9 times out of 10 will be out of the country. And so we just have to be careful. And so I just wanted to give you that warning today because that is absolutely something that we need to be paying attention to. And so as we look at the price of cryptocurrency right now and where we are, oh my goodness, Elon Musk, I told you all yesterday, he changed that Twitter bird to a dog, and the price is soaring. And people think that they are going to get rich quick, along with Mr. Elon Musk. I'm gonna call him the AH. I'm not gonna keep calling him what I want to call him, but I'm gonna call him the AH. But we've got Bitcoin right now, ladies and gentlemen, that's trading at $28,285. It is up in the last hour 0.54%. In the last 24 hours, it's up 1.72%. And in the last 7 days, it's up 3.51%. Ethereum is green all the way across as well. It is trading at $1,875. It's up in the last hour 0.49%. In the last 24 hours, 4.70%. And in the last 5 days, it's up 5.52%. And because of what Elon Musk did yesterday, Dogecoin is up. And some of y'all that have Dogecoin and you've been waiting for this day, I bet you're going to sit there and be a little bit greedy and try to wait to see if this is going to go up more before you trade it and get out of it. But I'm going to tell you, if I had access to the Dogecoin that is stuck on one of those exchanges overseas, I would be dumping it right now. But nevertheless, this Dogecoin is up, and so is Shiba Inu, and that's what he planned to do, because guess what? He owns a bunch of it, and he wants to make sure he sells it to you before it crashes, because there's no real value, no real anything. I don't care if you can go to the moon using Dogecoin. How many of you all plan on visiting the moon in the next 10 years? I don't think any of you are actually, but he's using that as a reason why this coin is going to have some value. Oh yeah, you can also buy a Tesla with Dogecoin. Big whoop-de-doo. It's just ridiculousness. So I just would caution each and every one of you. Again, I'm not providing any financial advice, because if it goes to the moon, as they say, and it turns into $1 million a coin, which it could never because of the tokenomics, I don't want y'all to be mad at me. So if you have Dogecoin or Shiba Inu, do what you do. But just don't come crying to me like a whole bunch of people came crying to me in 2021 when they fell flat on their back after losing refinancing money from their house and from their 401k. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, when we come forward, we'll continue the conversation. This is KBLA Talk 1580.
So what's happening is we have been perpetually doing every single thing they told us. But y'all, I'm here to tell y'all, if it ain't changed in 158 years after slavery ended, it ain't gonna change unless we get in our own system. And the system is Bitcoin specifically. I'm not in here talking about get rich quick. I'm talking about it's gonna take us 5 to 10 years of playing chess. This money game is a chess game. This ain't checkers, and they ain't playing with us. So if you really, really want to do something for yourself, do something for your kids, do something for your family, start strategically thinking about how to put $6 away worth of Bitcoin. We're not telling you to run out and get 30,000. I am actually out here begging our community to do something different than we've been doing, because they don't care about us. They are not coming to save us.
All right, welcome forward. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have a couple of things that we are going to be doing over the next couple of days, and I wanted to make sure that I'm sharing that with you. So, tonight we have a mission critical. And I'm actually going to be introducing some of the in person events that we're going to be doing around the country to ensure that we are getting all of our assets in the right place so that we don't have to depend on a third party. So tonight I'm doing mission critical. So if you're interested in that, immediately after I'm off air today, please send me either a text message, and I'll repeat that number in a little while, or an email to ask Najah Roberts at gmail.com so I can get you on tonight so you understand what we're doing. We are going to focus on all of our markets, and you all know I am all about building silicon hoods, right? And so we are going to kind of put that vision into play as we have just been given at our fingertips so many opportunities to make and be the change that we want to see, not just in this cryptocurrency space, because remember, Bitcoin and cryptocurrency is just a tiny piece of this big puzzle. So, we're going to talk on Mission Critical tonight about how critically important it is that you get this retirement stool put together. And when I say stool, yeah, that thing that you sit on. When you sit on a stool, you don't want a leg to break. You want to be very secure when you sit on that stool. So I have these pillars on the stool that you need to know about because our retirement absolutely matters. How much money we have absolutely matters. And right now, based on the banking crises, based on the World Economic Forum, based on the BRICS agreement, based on Operation Sandman. You all need to know what's going on and how we are going to come out on the other side of this feeling fabulous, feeling empowered, feeling in control, and feeling like we have everything we need in place. And so tonight is mission critical. And again, you can send me an email or text message. But we also have the crypto essentials coming up this week, and that's on Saturday. And then at the end of the month, we have a ledger in me 1, 2, 3. And again, I am super excited about these events because this is an opportunity for us to really get our ducks in a row without having to depend on anybody else. We're also planning for the Digital Financial Revolution Tour. So we're coming to a neighborhood near you, no matter where you are in the United States. We will be coming someplace close to you, and we hope that you can join us. Not only that, I got a word. I will probably, and we have some listeners, ladies and gentlemen, that are listening to us sometimes in the UK. I'm so excited about that, and especially because there is so much to learn and so much to do, and so many of us that are scattered across this United States. I'm just excited. I said across the United States, across this world. We're everywhere trying to learn and really get ahead of the crypto curve because this thing called cryptocurrency is not going anywhere anytime soon. And I was listening to some folks the other day, and they're calling the central bank digital currency Biden bucks. They're calling them Biden bucks. so I'm not gonna get off on that one, but Biden bucks are coming, y'all. I'm not gonna call them Biden bucks because it's not even Biden that's taking this thing the way that it's going. It's literally the entire world is taking us in a digital space all across everything. So, with that being said, I'm going to make sure that you all have that information. I'm going to make sure that you're up to date and you know what's happening everywhere. And so I appreciate each and every one of you. So we have those events coming up. I hope that you're able to start attending some of those things so you can get a deeper dive. We just don't have enough time on the show. There's so many things going on, but you can send me a text message to 424 317-7373. Again, that number is 424-317-7373. I can get you the information for tonight and any other event, or you can go to asknajaroberts@gmail.com and you can get it there as well. And ladies and gentlemen, I again am so excited about the opportunities that are being presented to our community, really for the very, very first time. We are going to be showcasing just what is happening with those of us that are staying true to just a little bit of investing at a time. Some of you, this may be the first time that you've ever done anything outside of your jobs to start to try and invest. And you're doing the right thing. And I want to let everybody know this is not get rich quick. Nothing that we do right now is going to help us get rich quick. We have got to be nimble in our decisions, but we've got to be patient and we've got to take this one step at a time, and we've really got to pay attention. And so I'm going to continue to say that because a lot of people, even when they heard the numbers that we talked about yesterday about what we actually have in comparison to what we would have had if we kept money in the bank, they're like, is that all Bitcoin did? Well, how much did your bank account do? How much did the bank give you back? So yes, that's all Bitcoin did. A little measly, whatever you think that little measly amount was, yeah, it did exactly that. And I'm really actually excited about that because again, where that $590 of profit, I'm not pulling it because I know that holding on to the amount of Satoshis that I purchase is going to benefit me and my family much, much more than trying to go and buy myself, I don't know, a pair of shoes, or that's a hairdo for some of us, $590. But with that being stated, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be slow and steady, but I guarantee you my family will win the race. I have to say it that way because I'm not providing financial advice. I'm not saying you're going to win anything or you're going to gain anything, but just pay attention. Just be a student. And if you like what I'm doing, maybe you just kind of follow the leader. So I'll say it that way. Ladies and gentlemen, when we come forward, this is KBLA Talk 1580.
So what's happening is we have been perpetually doing every single thing they told us. But y'all, I'm here to tell y'all, if it ain't changed in 158 years after slavery ended, it ain't gonna change unless we get in our own system. And the system is Bitcoin specifically. I'm not in here talking about get rich quick. I'm talking about it's gonna take us 5 to 10 years of playing chess. This money game is a chess game. This ain't checkers, and they ain't playing with us. So if you really, really want to do something for yourself, do something for your kids, do something for your family, start strategically thinking about how to put $6 away worth of Bitcoin. We're not telling you to run out and get 30,000. I am actually out here begging our community to do something different than we've been doing because they don't care about us. They are not coming to save us.
We are just going to continue because we're no longer dollar cost averaging on the show, but I want you all to please continue to do that. And as an ex financial advisor on purpose, I want to say to you, please, ladies and gentlemen, think about how much you can afford to lose, and let's just say that amount is, I don't know, $200 a month that you may have that you can afford to lose. $200 for some of us is just going to dinner at, I don't know, your local nice restaurant, right? So maybe you say, I can afford to lose $200 by investing in Bitcoin specifically. What I'd like for you to do is cut that amount in half and make that $100 because we want you to be able to put away the money that you can afford to lose day in and day out, rain, sleet, or snow. Good times, bad times. That's what I did as a financial advisor. Whatever that number was that someone gave me, I would cut it in half because I want everybody to be comfortable. But whatever you can afford to lose, please make a decision that you're either going to do that once a month, once a week, once a day, whatever that looks like, and just continue to stack Satoshis because a DCA a day will keep poverty away from my family. And again, because I'm not a financial advisor anymore, you all, I got to say that. So we're making way for the DL Hughley Show. And I want to thank each and every one of you for rocking with me here on Ahead of the Crypto Curve, where we're making or creating Satoshi millionaires one family at a time, one day at a time, one Bitcoin at a time, one Satoshi at a time. And ladies and gentlemen, that means you.
Cause we ahead of the crypto curve, yeah.
Hey y'all, lights, camera, action.
Let's get ahead of the crypto curve, yeah. Learn from the queen of crypto, your host, Najah Roberts, leading people out of financial slavery through Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. Create your own economy. Let's get ahead of the crypto curve. Learn to get left behind.